Good time zone, everyone. And a happy birthday to all of those around the world. Boy, howdy, was I busy this weekend and did not get a chance to watch Ambiance Synesthesia, so no comment on that. Although I'm sure it was good. But I do not know what the new songs are. I did, however, find the time to start a 13-hour video on the lore of Bionicle. You remember the Bionicle? I do. Bionicle were sick. I still have my collection somewhere in this tower. I only got 2 hours into the 13 hours, pretty much covering most of what I already knew. I only knew like the very basic idea of the lore. Gotta collect the masks, there's a golden mask, and that was pretty much it that I remembered. But there's some crazy things. There's also a lot of like, they just kind of throw ideas out there with no explanation. I guess at the end of the day, it was written for children, but there's also a lot of crazy stuff. They put a lot of effort just for children at the same time. They also went really hard on making sure everything had a name in their like Polynesian ripoff language. I don't even think it's actually a custom language. I think it's just Polynesian. I know there's like some Maori and like Fijian, but they like everything uses those languages for naming, and it gets a little much. They should have thrown in some English in there sometimes. It can be hard to keep track of everyone and everything. But I respect the commitment. Anyway, we're back with episode 14. Almost said 13. Episode 14. No surprise W from like the free one poll or anything like that. One day that will happen. Actually, I think it might have already happened once. I feel like I did something like that once. Quabam. No character updates either.
Have you been doing well lately, Doctor?
But I am using the new background, which is so good, and this music, that guitar, oh boy.
Being in Kazimierz was no easy thing. The Adeptus Spravedlivi and the General Chamber of Commerce are still constantly at each other's throats.
Only
And
just
the day when glory once again
position.
shines on Kashmir seems very far
So
away
good.
still. Only at Rhodes
No, it's
Island can
too
I
big
let
to ever
my
see
guard
it,
down
but the
and
music,
regather myself with peace of mind.
the music is really nice. It made me see that there's some other backgrounds I still have to unlock. 2 from integrated strategies. Actually, all 3 are from integrated strategies. I also found out. So, you know, there's a Typhon skin that I forgot about. I knew it came out, but I also forgot it came out and was like, where is that skin coming out? Turns out it's an integrated strategies, level 80. That's gonna take forever to get it. But I want it. It's a good skin. Gives her a crossbow, which is cool. Level 80 though, my goodness. Most people don't like that one. Most people have bad taste. Most people want all their characters to wear swimsuits. Oh, which reminds me, they finally showcased the new Mudrock skin. It's not armor, as expected, but it is actually the best one that they made for her because it's actually kind of a cool, like, rugged outfit sort of thing. You could wear in combat. Still hope for armor though. And I was glad to see a lot of people were with me on that, actually. I wasn't sure what the opinion was, but there was a lot of comments from people saying should have been armor. Anyway, last time on Arknights episode 14, the Exemplars arrive at the town of, I'll be honest, I don't remember its name. It ends with Ham. That's about it. But they arrive at this town and find that that soldiers and civilians are hiding in like an underground part of the, like a bunker thing. I'm not sure actually what it was. A service tunnel? Maybe it was the sewers. Either way. And inside is Bagpipe as well. There's a nice reunion between horn and bagpipe. But then Duke Godwin arrives. Although he's not really here to cause trouble. He instead they have a strategy meeting between him and Siege and Horn and all the other main characters. And he suggests, hey, Siege, Alexandrina, I understand you don't really want this whole king thing, but what if you came to Parliament instead? Because the head of Parliament has always been the royal family. The king has always been the head of Parliament, but you don't have to be the king. You can just be the head of Parliament instead. Effectively making her the prime minister, I suppose. And she doesn't actually say yes or no to that. Instead, she asks if that would mean handing over the Sigh of Kings. And of course, Godwin is like, naturally. Which causes a bit of tension between the two sides before things could potentially escalate the Sarkaz attack. Godwin leaves, but he leaves behind a bunch of infected soldiers to help, as like a show of friendship. During the attack, Closure's team, whom were out in the field trying to set up a broadcast system to announce safe zones for people trying to escape the Oranginium spread. They get attacked, but before Closure's murdered, because she almost gets killed, Fang arrives, and Misery, but Fang arrives as part of the Rhodes Island reinforcements. I don't know if there's any other reinforcements, but there's at least Fang. Meanwhile, back at Lifebone, W's mercenaries, some of W's mercenaries go missing. And so she heads out with some others to investigate what happens, and their last known location is near a cave. But inside the cave, they discover a bunch of chimera monsters created by the Confessare. Why are they in that cave? Who knows? Deeper in the cave, she finds her men, still alive actually, and she also finds the bodies of dead assassins, the same assassins sent to kill Teresa. But it doesn't make sense. Why are they in this cave? Who knows? They also find some ancient ruins, it looks like, and some mysterious figure who steps out of the shadows. And that's all we know for that. Back at Lifebone itself, Hodor is trying to convince Ursula to, join them, to abandon the military commission, but she says, well, no, I like the military commission, and you'll regret not killing me. He doesn't want to kill her. And sure enough, she escapes and threatens to destroy Lifebone, since she is connected to Lifebone through arts. And then there's Amia and the Doctor and Kaltsit and Logos. They don't really do much. They meet up with the three Sarkaz, like ordinary Sarkaz dudes that appeared last episode briefly. They didn't want to. They technically were like supposed to defend the Lifebone, but they didn't want to actually fight. They were scared, and Amiya's like, "Yeah, that's fine. Like, you don't need to fight. I'll get you out of here." But then they get attacked by some Nachzehrer and the one girl named Driver. I think she gave her real name later. Becomes like, she's not a full vampire, but she has vampire blood in her, and then like gets infected, quote unquote, by vampire blood. And that's pretty much all that happened. Field of Vision. Oh, also we saw Allerdale, who got some crazy new clothes and is looking for Alexandrina. Feel the vision. This time, the chase will not be in vain. Paprika, paprika! Hey, stay still. Let's run for it. What are you talking about? Haven't you noticed? The mercenaries under W are all gone. The military's commission's troops must have arrived. All the more reason not to run around and get caught in the crossfire. Don't forget it was the military commission that hired us. If they have come, it's curtains for the guys here. If we make a run for it now, we could still explain things to General Manfred. You want to go back to him? He'll just send you back to Victoria to kill more people. Is that what you want? You think we have a choice? What do you think the General will do to us when he finds out that we surrendered? I'll run errands if they tell me to run errands, and I'll kill if they tell me to kill, whatever it takes to survive. You want to stay? That's your choice. I'm going. Goodbye. Oh. Oh. "50 hours into the operation." Oh, her again. Aren't you the lucky one, Major Ursula? It's not every day that you get to lose a critical objective, be captured by the enemy, and still make it back in one piece. Looks like you get along well with your old Scar Market buddies. Watch your tone, Nachzehrer. It's not your place to judge my failure. I wonder if I think Ursula is just a mixed. I don't think she's a pure blood. Although she might be. I'm not sure what she would be. If she's not Nachzehrer, I'm not sure what she'd be. Regardless of the circumstances, Major Ursula's survival is good news for the military commission. General Manfred, I know about the Sanguinarch's death. You can explain later. As for now, I hope you've returned with something of value. I have the skeleton's location, and the details about the mercenaries guarding it. That's all. Sounds like it would have been more worth it if you had stayed in the hands of those mercenaries. I want to hear what you think. The mercenaries are trying to reawaken the Fairmont skeleton. Whatever their plans are, it has something to do with them. I don't know what they're plotting, but they don't have a lot of people guarding the skeleton, for some reason. Is Hodwer among them? Yes. Surround the canyon. You ever think about how Manfred, keeps surrounding him with himself with young women soldiers? First it was Paprika, now it's this new girl. Also there's Ursula. Kind of weird if you think about it. Take back the spine, no matter the cost. Yes, sir. General Manfred, for the upcoming battle, You won't be needed. Stay in the rear. Yes, sir. As a precaution, may I ask, what are your plans if we're unable to take back the skeleton quickly? I don't enjoy such hypotheticals, Ursula. Manfred's troops are here. They're a little earlier than expected. What about the royal court's men? Nothing from Ursula? She got away. It's my fault. We'll talk about this later. Where's W? She went out to scout the battlefield. Worst case scenario, she'll run into the enemy before we do. If Ursula got back to Manfred, they may have information on our current location and defenses. We're significantly outnumbered. A prolonged fight doesn't favor us. So cut off the serpent's head. It's been 50 hours since the doctor's team set out. Any news? Nothing. We have to hold out until the agreed upon time. Given our odds, the only way to hold off the military commission for a day is if they were struck by a catastrophe. But as things stand, even catastrophes are at their command. The military commission won't let this weapon fall into our hands and threaten their aerial superiority. They'll come at us with everything they have. We'll have to take the chance. What do you mean? The chance that Manfred doesn't want to destroy the skeleton either. I hope you really know Manfred as well as you think you do. One last question. What happens if we don't get word from the doctor when the agreed upon time passes? Then we abandon the skeleton. There's no point fighting to the death. Evacuation comes first. Our main priority is to always keep as many people alive as we can. Reasonable. No objections. There's another way that might delay the royal court's attack. Killing their commander. Ascalon. Agreed. I'll kill him. The time's finally come for them to face each other. It's freezing. I don't want to admit it, but I can feel my heart race. Damn, stop trembling. It's just like that time when I had to face Tallulah alone. No, even worse. This strange figure must be the master of those monsters and this realm, yet I sense no hostility from him. It's as if my presence is not worth his attention. He just keeps hacking at the crystallized bones with his axe without even looking my way. Did he kill all of these people? I have my finger on the trigger, but I can't move an inch. Pull yourself together, W. Pull yourself together, W. Haven't you seen your fair share of monsters by now? Find out who he is and what this cavern has to do with Teresa. Pry it out of his mouth if that's what it takes. Alright. I don't have time to waste on you, you sorry piece of wood. I have a few questions, and your answers will decide whether my next move is to throw bombs at your face or not. This is a Confessarius altar. Are you a Confessarius? Clank, clank. The relentless and haunting sounds of axe striking bone echoes through the cavern as if carrying the weight of eras forgotten. He slowly opens his mouth to speak.
I'm the servant, Qui Sartustad, King of Sargas. A bloodline of the king perseveres through life, death. If he who serves the king of Sargas is a confessarius, then a confessarius I am.
So you can talk. I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself before I shoot. What is this place? What does it have to do with the confessari?
Khalid Joa, the key. But this key opens no door. Not anymore. Now, I am merely the warden of this deep, dark tomb.
What are you talking about? A tomb for who?
The countless heroes of Kazdal, and the foes who have died at their hands. The Grave Bearer, the Magnificent Eight, the Brave 11, all have fallen in the course of history, and I have buried many of them. Here lies their weapons and armor, remnants of the past.
You must be joking. You knew all these people? Don't tell me you're as ancient as that old hag. I don't know why you old freaks keep clinging to the past. Are you gonna let yesterday's bad jam stop you from eating today? Okay. I need to workshop that.
Many have emerged from that epoch of heroes, becoming the new hope of the Sargas time and again. But all of them have failed, joining the ashes and dust in this tomb. You stand upon the sword of Quilon, the wrathful cerulean flame. Teresa's left it here, because he refused to use it. Still, it is not proper to step upon it.
Quilon? Isn't he a character in those myths and legends? You're not playing me for a fool, are you? But why is this in Victoria? And not, like, near Castle or something. Damn, I took a step back without even realizing it. Why should I believe him, and why shouldn't I step on Quilon's sword, even if it was real?
I have answered your questions. Now you shall answer mine.
Oh, his name is Khalid Choa. That's what he was saying. I thought he was saying this place is Khalid Choa. I mean, that's what he answered to her question. What is this place? I guess it's maybe both in the same.
Why do you trespass upon this place?
Blank. The axe swings again. The shockwave almost makes W take another step back. I'm here to pick a fight with the Confessari. What's that altar used for? Tell me or else.
The mission of this altar has ended. No one visits this place anymore, except fools who stumble upon it.
That strange fellow answered all my questions with flat interest. Clearly, he'd rather return to his work with the axe than engage with me. I've lashed out at him, but my anger has met with no response. It's like throwing stones into a bottomless pit. What did he mean? He's not with the Confessari. Shouldn't he have come after me with his axe the moment the words left my mouth? Hey, I'm talking to you. The smoke clears, but the gaunt figure remains upright. I didn't think I could take him out with a single bomb, but seriously, not even a scratch?
Futile. This vessel will never change again. A failed vessel has been denied both eternal light, or life rather, sorry, both eternal life as the instrument of the crown's coming, and the sweetest release of death.
Was he the first attempt at creating Nightingale? Is that what he means? So you're one of the Confessari's failed experiments too? You feel bad for yourself? I could free you from your suffering.
It is but futile.
The man swings his stone axe and bats away W's bomb, as though swatting away a fly. Good, I got a response from him. W's aggressive for no reason. I mean, yeah, that's W. You know, this guy kind of reminds... I feel like this guy would be in a From Software game. Like, you walk into this room, there's this big guy swinging his axe, and he looks at you, and then the boss fight starts. That means there's a chance. 3, 2. The bomb falls exactly where I expected it to. A section from the cavern collapses, trapping him beneath, but not enough to kill him. I point my gun at his head. You said the Confessari made you indestructible. Let's see if it can't blow a hole in your brain at this range. The Confessari like their experiments, don't they? Did you guys make those big-head moths? Disgusting den of monsters. Cut the poetry and answer my question. Did you know Teresa?
The exiled one has had the honor of seeing the King of Sarkaz. This is where the tragic king was reborn.
This is the place? How did they do it?
The Confessari brought the king's bloodied body back and cut her soul from the myriad, but she was already entwined within the myriad and could no longer exist as herself.
W turns around toward the altar in the center of the cavern. The menacing building looks unnerving and smells faintly of blood. What had happened here? I dare not think about it, but I can't stop myself. Why?
The presence of Sarkaz needed her to die. The future of Sarkaz needed her to live. As the King of Sarkaz, she gave her all, her spirit and her wisdom, her blood and her bone. You followed the king's path as her former subject, but she is no longer the one you knew. I saw her awaken, the sorrow on her face. I saw the weight on her soul, her eternal torment.
Enough. Shut up.
She was a sacrifice to the myriad souls, to Kazul, to all the past and future Sarkaz.
I said shut up. I've had enough. Calcit, Dr. Teresis, all of you. All of you have your big dreams and ambitions. You talk about doing great things. But did it change anything in the end? People keep dying, the people who should die, the people who shouldn't, the people who really shouldn't. And you won't even let her have her final rest. To hell with the myriad souls and the suffering of the Sarkaz. Why should a person have to bear all this burden? All of you can go to hell. I'll blow this place, the place of her desecration to oblivion. Dust falls or fills the entire cavern. The decrepit ornaments lie in ruins, yet the explosions are not enough to quench her anger. In the deepest reaches of the cavern, a lone altar resembling a door remains open. Empty whispers. What is this?
Hi.
Your Highness? W pushes the door open. Ah, what a cliffhanger.
Keep track of my position. I'm
Caustic
ready to strike.
oranginium slug. New slug just dropped. Although that's not really a slug. More like an ant or something. It explodes and causes pollution. That's cool.
When were the seeds of this tragedy planted?
Picked out your bait yet? I know what to do. You can't hide your fear.
I guess we'll kill those guys. Assuming blue poison can survive.
Got a problem that needs solving?
Just barely.
Moving to designated location.
I know what to do. You can't hide your fear.
お待ちしておりましたわ。
I know what. Nothing can mask the scent of despair.
Oh, that's her thorax. Or abdomen? I don't remember insect anatomy. I thought the bulbous part was their head. Forgot about this guy. Whoops,
Pass
the
on your
daisy.
last words? No. Need speed to succeed.
Whoops, the daisy. Let's get her out.
Don't nothing can mask the scent of despair.
Oh, I just realized her skin also has the like the range shown in a special effect. I like that. I don't know if that's a thing they're gonna do from now on, or if it's just for the synesthesia skins. I don't know, but it is nice.
You saw nothing. Need speed to succeed. Need speed to succeed.
I know what to do. Don't order me around.
You saw nothing.
Perfect timing.
Moving to designated location.
Mission accomplished.
Found you.
Crazy. You're crazy, just like they said.
I'm glad you already know. Then you must also know what I do to those who won't tell me what I want to know. Now talk. What are you people planning around Kasdal? What's behind this overly simple operation? Don't act like I'm stupid just because I don't care about all the ins and outs of Teresa's giving up Kasdal.
You didn't break free of my witchcraft. How long do you think you can last?
Until you beg for death on your knees and spit out everything I know. Or you know. Not I know, that'd be weird.
Huh. Mercenary. You think you're special? You're the special one that gets to live. Everyone does, until death finally comes for them. Death forgets no one. The myriad souls are waiting. You won't escape, and neither will she. It's all futile.
What about you?
Me? I'm happy to embrace my death. Say goodbye to weakness, Sarkaz. A new era has dawned. It belongs to us. Even if there's no place for me in us.
W, your hand. Medic, we need a medic over here. Damn, he triggered the grenade. With the Sarkaz's death, his art ceases, the mire fades, and the stench of decay dissipates. Yet why does the wilderness around them remain so dark? A sense of unease deepens. The expression on the Sarkaz warriors as they died was one of devotion. Why would such an expression appear on the faces of men like them? Were you able to get in touch with HQ? Inter-squad communications have been partially restored. Heavy interference still prevents us from reaching headquarters, though. It's possible that Orangenium activity is spreading in the area. No need to worry, though. We haven't heard about any attacks on HQ. Plus, they have Her Highness and the Doctor there. And the Doctor's such a cool, nice guy. We're one step away from winning this war. Where's the vehicle? I'm going back now. But we haven't received further instructions. We could set up the doctor's... We could upset the doctor's plans if we move without orders. Wait, I'm getting a message. It's from Scout. Scout says... Babel was merely a temporary refuge, no different from the countless others before it. Or so W had believed. True, there was always clean food and water, and badly wounded were not just left to die, and there were a few interesting guys around. But at the end of the day, it's all the same, just a place to stay. It was not the first time W had lost her home before she joined up with Odoer and Ines. Sometimes she would return to camp and find it in flames. Sometimes she was the one who set it on fire. It is what she was used to. No Sarkaz truly believes in peace and quiet. Destruction was the norm. Conflict was the spice of life. But when she saw the collapsed columns, the bloodstains in the corridors, and the doctors yelling instructions, for the first time she felt a profound sense of collapse. What happened? Out of the way! Out of the way! Make way for the wounded! Make room in the sick bay! Out of the way! Where's Her Highness? No idea, all security systems have failed. Dr. Couts at his lookout. Did you do this?
Sarkaz, it's over.
Don't say that.
Now I see. Her blood was no different from ours.
You. Everything turns dark once more, like a curse that refuses to lift. Darkness engulfs the light, consuming it completely. No one can escape the night.
The war's over, along with its strife. Listen, Sarkaz, victory belongs to...
A blade penetrates the assassin's chest.
Babel didn't give you any orders, W. What are you doing here?
You want to talk to me about violating orders now? Ascalon looks at her. W had worked with Ascalon for a while now, but this was the first time she saw that look on her face, that look in her eyes. She did not even know that Ascalon was capable of such sorrow. Is what Scout said true?
You shouldn't have come back. Not now.
Where's Her Highness?
Sweep the ship, W. Rhodes Island is not out of danger yet. Dr. Calcet is busy dealing with emergencies. We're the only ones.
I'm asking you, where is Teresa?
Go to the mobility level. That's the most likely point of entry.
Are you bloody deaf? You said she's dead. I want to see her with my own eyes.
Listen to me, Sarkaz mercenary W. Fulfill your duty, unless you want Babel to fall and all of her efforts to be for naught.
You're worthless. All of you worthless. Why did I ever trust you? Why did I ever believe that you could? Nothing's changed. Nothing ever did. All high and mighty, were they not, everyone on the ship? Didn't they spend all their time talking about their dreams, all their lofty ideals? Then why couldn't they even protect one person? All the things they've said, the things that I thought could be. I was the fool who believed. I saw it. The blood and footprints in the chairman's room. There was nothing else left. It was like nothing was ever there. The darkness was thick and sticky. It always is. Teresa is dead, and I didn't even get to see her one last time. Your Highness, what are you doing here? The door still. When did it get fixed? That door, man. Guess closure's good at something for something after all. The old hag, too. Rhodes Island stayed together, barely, after you were gone. She did her best, so did the little bunny. I did my part too. I wanted to see you again. Ever since I got to Londinium, I've wondered when I could. I never understood. Why did you always put yourself through so much? Just like how I never understood why you cared so much about that broken door. Teresa is gone. What? Then who's standing right here? No, I must be dreaming. Why would Her Highness talk to me? Am I talking to myself? But the work of the Sarkaz is not done. I will give myself to our cause, for the future where all of us can sleep without fear. I don't understand, but I believe you. What about you then? Teresa turns around and pushes the door. It opens. Teresa walks through the door, followed by countless silhouettes, their voices booming, their questions piercing. The Sarkaz will never be saved. No one can escape suffering, for we had once suffered. No one can escape hatred, for we had once hated. All the senseless deaths, all the shattered hopes. Where is paradise? Where is peace? Teresa's steps are slow and heavy. W opens her mouth. What should she say? What could she say? She finally realizes that it was not a conversation she had just experienced, but an echo of Teresa. But she could not resist asking the shadow. How can I save you, Your Highness? If you're still alive. Keep going. You will go further than I ever have. How will I know if I've gone far enough? If I killed you, will you be saved? There is no answer. Teresa does not turn back. Neither do the silhouettes. Their footsteps are slow, but their direction remains unwavering. Teresa walks further into the light, almost out of sight. Your Highness. W finally lets out what she's been holding back. Screw the myriad souls. Screw their suffering. I'll bring peace back to you. Maybe you've never had true peace, but screw it. I'll end it all. For you, Your Highness. Did she see Teresa stop for a brief moment? W wasn't sure. She shimmers and blends into the light. Darkness returns once more. What was that? Oh snap, his mask fell off.
You heard the king's echo.
You're alive? Khalid Choa appears behind W without her realizing. Neither the bombs nor the falling rocks left a mark on him. He comes up beside W and gently closes the door.
Her Highness has left.
How can you be so calm when I just blew up your home?
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If destruction is inevitable, why despair when it comes?
You don't let things get to you, I'll give you that. Honestly, I'm starting to find you interesting. Aren't you supposed to be really powerful? Didn't any of the King of Sarkaz try to send you to do something useful?
One I serve Quisar Tushtaj transcends history itself. He is a colossal titan in the vast river of time. I followed him in his wars, my sword an instrument of death to his command. But my body, a failed vessel at extending his life.
I guess even the craziest among us have their loyalties, he says. That applying really well to her as well.
The experiment failed. Unable to fulfill my destined purpose, I banished myself to this realm. I am of no use, but only to gather the remnants of bygone heroes, and more in the past. I have been waiting for someone to open the door to the future. I thought Teresa would be the one to do so.
You. The gaunt figure picks up the broken altar fragments on the ground and grinds them into fine dust. He trails the powder down his cheeks with his fingers, creating two streaks that resemble tears.
Her Highness Teresa is gone. You have picked up her last echo. The King of Sark has his old subject. Your presence here may not be a coincidence, young Sarkaz.
You know what? I think so too. Got to leave a souvenir in the Confessari's nest. Khalid Choa looks down to find several bombs at his feet.
Why did you...
How does she do it? She's really good at sleight of hand. You know what? Of all the old freaks I've met, you're one of the more interesting ones. But I couldn't leave a Confessarius without leaving a present behind.
What is your name, mercenary?
Find it on Teresa's tombstone.
Limit the enemy's choices, forcing them into unwitting traps. A familiar style. You really don't remember anything?
I don't know, I thought he's like, I've been searching, for...
Sooner or later, you'll have to face yourself.
I thought Teresa would be the one or whatever. I thought she was like, well, you know who the new Sarkaz, King of Sarkaz is?
Correct your mistakes.
Maybe you should go talk to her. Nope, just blow him up again. Countermeasures do not lose heart, however grim the situation. "58 hours into the operation. Sarkaz swearing.
How are we supposed to fight these guys when our equipment doesn't even come close to theirs? Evacuate now.
Lifeboat signal is strong. We've got a good fix on its location. Forward. Scoutcasters advance. Look out, enemies! In formation, watch for ambush. Infantry, form a line. Casters provide cover.
Royal Court elites, under Manfred's direct command, a lot of them. No heavy firepower, though. I can at least slow them down. Hodor was right. Ursula knows our defenses are weak, and she'll tell Manfred we can use this to our advantage. The military commission won't allow Lifebone to fall into enemy hands. Manfred would destroy it if he had no other choice. Draw them in. Avoid direct confrontation. Manfred will be cautious about the use of heavy weapons, as long as he thinks there's a chance to retake the skeleton intact. That gives us a chance to buy time. With enough time, there's a sliver of hope. This had better work, Hodor.
What's this bothersome shadow?
Nachzehrer arts. Mercenaries are just mercenaries. Maybe you could hold your own in a one-to-one fight, or small-scale confrontations. But where did you find the nerve to fight a real war? I've always been curious. What made mercenaries like you choose to become enemies of the military commission?
The shadow blends into the vast darkness, yet not enough to escape the decay that closely follows.
We have intel of a merc who can manipulate shadows. Are you Ines?
Ines, she died.
An outsider dressing herself up as a Sarkaz, participating in the wars of the Sarkaz. What are you, a Sarkaz fangirl? I become less interested when the Sarkaz talk too much.
Shadows erupt from beneath the Nachzehrer, morphing into sharp blades that streak towards her chest, only to tear through layers of tattered cloth. The Nachzeher's ribbons are wrapped tightly around the shadow blades until they shatter and disintegrate. The Nachzehir's knife presses against Ines's throat.
Nice party trick. Not enough to take down a real soldier though, amateur. Consider yourself lucky that I don't approve of the Sanguinarch's methods. A new era for the Sarkaz is dawning. Mercenaries like you who strayed from the path should get a second chance. Are you the leader of this rebel? I am Lieutenant General Nadine, General Manfred's deputy, and I offer you a chance to surrender. I suggest you take it. You don't look scared. Scared of what? A wet behind the ear rookie who's on the real battlefield for the first time? What did you say? I know your type. You got into the Military Commission's academy because of your Royal Court bloodline, studied a few theories, got promoted to staff officer as soon as you graduated. Sorry to say, but real war is a bit harder than those exams you passed. You'll pay the price for your futile taunting. It's not futile if it distracts you. Who's the amateur now, Lieutenant General?
She's already wearing her new outfit? What happened? She blew up the cave and got a new outfit from that? Damn, this thing really packs a punch. That heap of dead wood wasn't lying. How did you know I was coming? I could smell the explosives from a mile away. Oh yeah, guess we're starting to build chemistry. I'd rather not have my brain cells mixed with your bomb-blasted ones. Thank you very much. Enough small talk. How many did the military commission send? I'll blow them up. I'll blow them all the way back to Kazdal. Okay, Ines asking the questions for us. Thank you, Ines. Where did you go, and what's with the outfit change? My old garb was a little frayed, so I had to improvise. You'd never believe what I ran into out there. Flashback, thank you. I guess the cave explosion tore her clothing, is what she's saying. Did you just find a closet in there too? Yeah. You're tough for a heap of dead wood. If I can't blow you up, at least I'll blast all this stuff.
These relics and armor, weapons and armor are relics of great Sarkaz heroes. Your weapons will not harm them.
So you're saying these things are blast-proof? Alright, don't mind if I do. Better for them to get some sunshine with me than rot in here.
Young mercenary, you should respect the Sarkaz heroes.
So her altar's just, she found some cool weapons. Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's better than finding some water guns, am I right? What's going on? Where's Manfred? I could use a target to try out my new gear. Is the clothing from a Sarkaz hero as well? Then don't be hasty. You'll ruin our plan if you make too much of a scene. Why, does Hodor have some trick up his sleeve? You have squandered your only chance to live. You refuse to join the military commission. Now you will fuel the war. I really did think there was going to be more to it than that, though. But maybe it's better that way. Instead of making her something super special, like she had super special powers the whole time, maybe it's actually better that, like, yeah, she just found some cool weapons. I hear the sound of fighting.
Things are going smoothly, sir. We haven't run into much resistance. The mercenaries are no match for us, but it would be difficult to stop them from destroying Lifebone out of desperation.
No, they won't do it. Oh man, look at old Hodor. Which is actually young Hodor. kind of baby-faced. This book has no ending.
This is just a manuscript from an unknown writer. Hardly worth your attention, General.
I remember you, veteran. You like reading? Not just any book, but the kind that promotes this sort of pessimism towards war. No need to justify your reading interests. Be honest with me, mercenary. What ending would you write if you were the author?
The hero returns home.
Not a death in battle. A warrior should think of more than his home in battle.
Whose home should he think of then?
Your empathy is admirable.
Pardon my impudence.
Sentimentality is a necessary trait of an author, but indecision is the worst trait in a soldier.
I understand.
Your compassion is the reason I've kept you alive for so long. But you should have gone back to Kasdal, become a teacher or a farmer, give up your ludicrous mercenary career. Lifebone was meant to be a way home for all warriors. Remain vigilant. A beast is most dangerous when cornered. Keep up the pressure. Give them no quarter. Sir, look out! No one sees the smoke coagulate into a blade, as subtly as mist condenses into dew. The soldier beside Manfred throws himself in front of his commander. The blade impales him, delaying it for an instant. Man, that guy must have rolled like a nat 20 on perception. Enough for Manfred to draw his sword. You won't. It all happens in a blink of an eye. Arts coagulate by Manfred's side just as he swings his sword upwards. But Ascalon's blade is swifter. This time there is no doubt, no hesitation. A blow long due. The assassin and the general cross blades, severing life and death, and all of their past ties. General! The sword impales Ascalon's shoulder, but the sleeve blade pierces Manfred's heart. Oh snap, that was over quick. You've lived up to your words.
As I said I would.
If you had made up your mind, I would have died at your hand a long time ago.
I still have regrets about not killing you the night you left Kasdal. Farewell.
Manfred, question mark? What a shame. I thought you'd at least shed a tear.
What?
The Demazi, oh my gosh. Damn, they got us. You would have recognized us under any other circumstances. Quick and direct, weren't you? Did you care too much about him, or too little? We got played. Everything went exactly as Manfred expected. That's the second time that Demazi has secretly been posing as someone else that we tried to kill. We really need to, do something about that. You still don't know how Manfred well enough for all the years that you've been rivals, but he knows you all too well. We've engaged the court on both the north and south sides, and we're pulling back our lines as planned. Everything has gone according to plan so far.
Good. Any sign of Manfred?
Not yet.
He wouldn't be content just to sit in the back and bark orders at a time like this. I hope things go smoothly for Ascalon.
No, she won't be coming back.
What did you say?
Oh my gosh.
What?
Just how many have they infiltrated?
I knew you would be here. Manfred.
Delayed tactics. Did you really think protecting the skeleton would help you return the tables? Why? I gave you a chance. I gave you far too many chances. You knew the smart thing to do.
Once again, you're having Sarkaz slaughter Sarkaz. Haven't you had enough of wars like this?
You disappoint me. Their deaths is not on me, but your naivety. You should have left long ago. Isn't this what you had always longed for? Now your mercenaries will die here, as will my soldiers, for something so meaningless. Have you not learned the lessons of the Civil War?
That's why the Sarkaz shouldn't repeat the mistakes of the past. Haven't we all seen what the Civil War became? We lost an entire generation to the war, and you're trying to kill more. Nothing comes out of this war. This war against all of Terra.
Something will come of it. Something must. Yeah, self-destruction. You have seen it already. You just refuse to acknowledge it.
To hate and to be hated. If that's the military commission's goal, then mission accomplished.
Don't you understand? That's the reason I need you to get out of this. Yes, the Civil War cost Kasdal an entire generation, and made you and I out of the survivors. Murderers who can only live by the sword. Why have you stayed? If you wanted to change all of this. There was so much more you could have done and should have done.
So what if I return to Kasdal? What happens next? How do I describe the children to the fields where their fathers, their mothers, their brothers and their sisters are buried? How do I make them believe in another future? Hatred is a means to unity, but you cannot let that unity become the spark for a new hatred. I can't leave. Not while the war continues.
So you've chosen to live and die with the war. In that case, I'll give you the answer. Ugh. Manfred, you coward. You lack even the courage to keep living. This is what makes you contemptible. This is what disappoints me so deeply. Better be careful, Manfred. You're gonna make a Ness angry.
Live up to duty.
I was wondering if we were gonna fight these guys. And then she blew up the cave, so I was like, well, I guess maybe not. But here they are, a little late, but whatever. Profane Chimera. Hey, they are called chimeras. Continuously produces pollution around itself when affected by pollution or active storms, and increases and attacks deal increased parts damage. I think they're ranged characters.
A new challenge.
Thus I speak.
Feels fresh. Losing sight.
Oh, more of them. As for the cluster, the Monty cluster, what you said earlier, maybe, you know, it'd be nice if ours, the one that sided with Rhodes Island, ever did anything.
I hear the elegy. Veil, the curtain of destiny.
Demazi versus Demazi, that'd be nice, or something.
Any instructions sail like a shooting star. That's what they say.
But yeah, the one with the commission has really been foiling us a lot lately.
Please, trust in me.
Wonder if they even come. It was at the warehouse, or the safe house. We saw it there for like a second. I don't know where it is now.
No one can see me.
Any instructions sail like a shooting star. That's what they say.
That's cool. It gets the firearm effect, just like in the
I hear the
story. It's neat.
The curtain of destiny.
No one knows my name. You stepped into my domain.
Any instructions? Losing sight.
He's powering up his friends. Logos.
I
Oh,
hear the
gosh.
elegy.
Where do you wish to fear not the firelight?
I guess I could do this.
Picked out your bait yet? Don't keep me where nothing can mask the scent of despair. I know what to do. Don't order me around.
And that guy's not in range, so I can do
Radical
this.
strategy, but I can work with it.
I'm surprised they're... Oh, now he's moving. I was like, I'm surprised they're not moving yet.
May I draw my sword now? Hesitancy is forbidden on the battlefield. Hesitancy is forbidden on the battlefield.
They only remember. Follow me into the shadows.
Feels fresh. Feels bad to lose your target, doesn't it?
Mission accomplished.
So far, none of these enemies are very threatening, and I'll take it. It's a nice break from the past few episodes. The 7th batch of new comm stations has been set up. 1/3 of all comm lines have been restored. Data from makeshift catastrophe monitoring stations indicates stabilizing atmospheric oranginium concentration, but rising underground oranginium activity. Two more teams of engineers have arrived at their destination. Continue to eliminate obstacles standing in the way of the main fleet. 4 battleships from Duke of Godwin, including the Felicus, will arrive at the rendezvous point within 15 minutes to join the escort flotilla after resupply. The Joint Command confirms that Wellington reinforcements You hear those announcements. The Ducal Alliance's forward base is just ahead. Smooth sailing so far. We owe Rhodes Island our thanks for plotting our route. It's not just us who are indebted to them.
Should we drive our tanks straight in? Small encounters are one thing, but this is one of the main camps of the Ducal Alliance. Will the Exemplar's ID code really work?
Of course. Please leave trifles like these to me and proceed ahead. The man just hacked our comms. Like, your entrances are always so sudden, Mr. Asher. Looks like you've been keeping an eye on our little procession in the middle of everything else you have to do.
There's a group of soldiers up ahead, Vina, plus a few trucks of ammo, gear, and food. Should we just accept it? Could be a trap this Burke's laid for us.
Yes, we'll take it. Ideals alone don't win battles. Thank you, Mr. Bellingham. Sincerely this time. You've helped us more than once. Please don't call me that. I'm perfectly content being the strange man in the hat. It's for the better if you suspect ulterior motives behind my every moves. Gibsonham, that's the name of the town. These gifts aren't just for Gibsonham. It's also for everything that Rhodes Island has done. We have sent people to direct civilians to the safe zones. Is Bellington the one? I wonder if Bellington's. I don't remember, but I assume Bellington's probably the same one, the same Asher that told her to, like, you know what? Yeah, go do your own thing. It's probably better for Victoria. Gifts. Didn't think you'd get engaged in such courtesies. Better than not doing anything, isn't it? You know how Victoria works. The towns around Londinium were not part of the Duke of Castor's jurisdiction. Considering the circumstances, however, Her Grace was forced to take certain actions that might perhaps be controversial in the future in order to provide safe shelter for as many as possible. Enough. I'm not interested in how the Duke of Castor intends to win people over. Tell me where the Stone of the Sword is, and what's happening at the front lines. No need to rush, Your Royal Highness. The history of the Stone of the Sword is long and complex. Ideally, I would require several dozen photographs and abundance of literature, and have you cleared for the highest access before I could properly recount these stories. In any case, I will take you to the front personally. If I were you, I would tell the troops to get some rest at the camp, while they still can. You will learn about the situation at the camp. Seeing is worth 1,000 words, isn't it? Yeah, help. Heave ho. That's the loss of the crate. Thank you. We're running short on ammo. The logistics team says they'll whip up a bony meal from the supplies you brought. Before we head out, care to join us for a bite? Thanks for the offer, but we've got Sarkaz scum to kill. Yeah! We just received orders from the command to join up with the assault on Silver Rock Bluffs once we've transferred the supplies. Those monsters, Nachzehers they're called, can't wait to put them down. Look at this, the newest crossbow, AP ammo, that's armor piercing, precision arse units. This stuff would be rare even in elite units in ordinary times. What about the Oranginium protection? Fighting Sarkaz isn't about the firepower. No worries, we've been issued a full set of PPE plus medication. Look. What the? Breaks over, Private Brown. Get ready to move. Have you oiled your crossbow? I'll oil it with the blood of Sarkaz. Hope their blood doesn't stink too much. Don't use blood for oil. That's gonna erode, and that's just gonna ruin your equipment. Good man. Now back to your squad. Are you the commander of this unit? My name's Shira. I have served as the medical officer of the Duke of Windermere's flagship. Your soldiers claim they've been issued sufficient Oranginium PPE, but... What are you trying to say, Lieutenant? As far as I know, the Duke of Windermere's troops have withdrawn from the war. It's not your place to question me. Go back to whatever you're supposed to be doing. You know full well, don't you? This type of equipment offers protection against mild industrial pollution at best. And yet you're issuing them to soldiers. Soldiers who are about to walk into a highly active Oranginium plume to face a catastrophe and infected Sarkaz head on. They all get infected and die on the front lines from acute symptoms. On what authority are you speaking to me, as a lieutenant of the so-called exemplars? I'm questioning you as a citizen of Victoria with medical education, Major. Victorian citizen, eh? Then you should know that not even Victoria could produce specialized Oranginium PPE for 100,000 soldiers on such short notice. But you should at least tell them the truth. By observing proper operating procedures in highly active Oranginium environments, their infection rates could be reduced as much as... Spare me the lecture. We came to fight. We came to die. But we will take the Sarkaz with us, until victory belongs to Victoria. Infected? Oropathy? What are you talking about? There will be no confirmed cases of oropathy in the Victorian army before the end of the war. This is absurd. Me and my commanding officer and his commanding officer will all be wearing the same protective equipment. We'll be charging with our men. Nay, we will be leading the charge. Now, let go of me. If you want to make a difference, Exemplar, go to the front lines. Lieutenant Shira, you heard him. Thanks to advance warning from our Rhode Island friends, the Exemplars have sufficient protective gear. We even have some to spare. Don't even think about it. What little we can provide is just a drop in the ocean for the tens of thousands in need. All we can do is take care of ourselves. We have our own duty. To bring an end to all of this as quickly as we can. It can't be. What? What happened? That's not what. Captain, it's him. Your shield. Why are you loading your weapon, Captain? Where? Oh my gosh, what is that? What are you doing? Wait for me. My goodness. Don't humor the bots. What did you see? Someone I thought to be long dead. Adjunct Hill? Is that what the? What happened to my men? They are here, rest assured. They're only unconscious. I don't mean Cello's group. You know who I mean. Don't push me or I won't be my shield against your chin. If you draw your sword, you'll be assaulting an ally. Ally? At what point, since the moment we entered County Hillock, have you ever treated us as an ally? Answer me. Lost him. Hill, adjunct to Colonel Hamilton. I thought he died in the fires of Dublin with the Colonel. Not just him, I saw many familiar faces on the Wellington tanks. They could change their clothes, but I'll never forget their faces. Well, yeah. County Hillock taken over by Dublin. Dublin allied with Wellington. But I thought Hill was killed. Yeah, I thought Hill was killed too. I thought Colonel Hamilton killed Hill, because I thought Hill was actually a spy, and I thought Hamilton killed him. But maybe he didn't. County Hillock. I remember my men, Bagpipe, and how each of them died. Cello and oboe died at the hands of Dublin. Triangle, snare, bass, and mandolin died to friendly fire. Moments before dying, Triangle asked me, who is our enemy? There isn't a night when I don't think about that question. Just who is our enemy, Bagpipe? It's Dublin. Dublin, certainly. We could hate the Taurans. You once told me that you encountered the former leader of Dublin and let her go. I met our enemy too, the Dublin commander who killed Cello. I buried her by the walls of Londinium with my own hands. I couldn't stop myself from hating her, but I know she is far from the only one responsible for this tragedy. Why did our comrades, the most loyal soldiers of Victoria, die at County Hillock, while Hill and more traitors live? Captain, I know what I'm doing. If we fire at the Duke's tents now, we risk bringing down the Alliance, even the dream of the Exemplars. That's the saddest thing, isn't it? We can't even take revenge, because they've put on their bloody Victorian uniforms and once again become our allies. Captain, permission to speak freely? Granted. I don't trust them. Would the men who killed our friends, the ones who fired on innocent civilians, really stand with us when we charge against the Sarkaz? Even we can set aside our hatred and trust our lives to our former enemies. We ought to reservation. Could they? There you are. Bina and I inspected this forward base. The troops are disciplined, the morale is high, the Dukes are taking this seriously. They seem to have reached a united front, allowing their troops to be organized according to function rather than faction. At least that's what it looks like on the surface. We saw Caster's elite standing guard near all the Wellington tents, and at least 2 or 3 groups of Caster's men stationed further away. A faked unity is unity nonetheless. At least in a time of crisis, the Dukes know who their true enemy is. One more piece of bad news. I checked out the field hospital. It's sparkling clean. There isn't a single wounded inside. If they're abandoning the wounded, that's impossible. Morale would collapse. Or maybe there are no more wounded. Also impossible. We saw how fierce the fighting is on our way here. Things would only be worse at Silver Rock Bluffs. Wait, you don't mean... None of the wounded made it back. We need to put an end to this tragedy as soon as we can. The exemplar strength might be insignificant compared to the all-consuming war, but creating miracles is what we do. An inspiring pep talk. Repairs on your tanks are complete. There you are at last. Wait. Why is the ground red? Is it your blood or... That's not important. My orders are to ensure that the Sigh of Kings finds its pedestal. Should I fail, another will put on this hat and continue the work. I bring a message from the Duke of Castor. Your Royal Highness, Castor forever honors her commitments. Enough pleasantries. Where is this pedestal, this sword of this stone of the sword? You've seen the camp. You have an idea of what the front is like. This is hardly the best time to tell you the truth, but we have no choice. The pedestal is on the glorious flagship of the Duke of Castor. What? You planned this all along. You guided our path, gave us a place to rest so you could lead us onto your home field. What's next? Will Castor's troop turn their weapons on us if we say no? Please, no need to get excited. Facts are facts, no matter how you choose to interpret them. My orders were always to bring the realm blade to the stone of the sword, with or without exemplars. Please consider it as an act of good faith that I'm telling you the truth now, rather than simply taking the sword from you during your darkest hour. Continue. Like I said, the history around the sword and the pedestal is a complex one that ought to be known only by a select few royals and nobles. In the distant past, even before the Shah of the past and future, an explorer discovered an artifact deep in the sands in the south of Sargon. It was by no means a sword, but it was able to repress the spread of oranginium crystals within a certain area. The treasure allowed the explorer to survey a catastrophe that should have engulfed the entire team. The legend of the catastrophe cleaver. The survivors forged a sword out of the artifact and presented it to the Shahanshah at the time as a symbol of valor. In the year 737, the Arslan Padishah Lugal Shamshi brought the Sigh of Kings to Victoria. Getting Lugal Shamshi lore. Decades later, his grandson became Victoria's first Lord of Lions. The sword has severed the head of a red dragon, witnessed the reconciliation between Aslan and Draco, and became a symbol of Victoria's royal authority. It has been damaged and reforged several times, and many have tried to uncover the secret behind its ability to fend off catastrophe. Scholars have yet to understand the principles behind the sword's power, but they did discover, that on how to make the most of it. The pedestal, dubbed the Stone of the Sword, at the Mausoleum of the Kings, is the result of research by House Castor. The Duke of Castor at the time kept a backup. After the original pedestal in the Mausoleum of Kings was destroyed in that battle, the only working replica is kept on the Glorious. Wasn't the Glorious bombed? For a century, the caster has coveted the realm blade. The chance has finally arrived. Countless soldiers and civilians will die in the war, but Caster gets to reap the fruit of victory and become the hero who saves Victoria. And judge it as you will, but this is what little chance, if not the only chance at victory, Victoria has in the present crisis. Our trump card in this dangerous game. Sugarcoat it all you want, but you can't convince us that the despicable scheming never happened. The choice is yours, Your Royal Highness. Enough. I refuse to engage in arguments over power, while we denounce the dukes for being calculative. There is no Princess Alexandra, only siege leader of the Exemplars. There is no symbol of royal authority. The Sigh of Kings is just a weapon, one that can win the war for Victoria. We go to war. Thank you, on behalf of Victoria. The spy takes a half step back and bows. I'll lead the way, however. You should prepare yourselves. So the Sigh of Kings was an artifact found buried in the sands of southern Sargon that is able to disrupt Oranginium. And then it was turned into a sword. But before that, it was some sort of artifact. Interesting. So presumably precursor. So they created an off switch. But why was it in southern Sargon? I mean, I guess the Houghton Hotlands also had a portal, so I guess southern Sargon was a place frequented by the precursors. East Vanguard reports retaking 3 villages by Duskglow River. Sarkaz forces continue to staunchly defend Silver Rock Bluffs Pass. All resistance on the southern front of the Red Mane Mountains has been neutralized. However, command expressly forbids crossing the mountains to flank the Sarkaz. All gunboats and dreadnoughts in position. Support gunboats have also arrived at their destination. The ground continues to tremble. The wary travelers can no longer distinguish the quakes from bombardments or the clusters of Oranginium erupting from the earth. The earth is scarred by deep, crisscrossing battleship tread marks. The stench of blood and sludge hangs heavy in the air. The Exemplar's tanks lumber through the rugged terrain. We're almost in the hot zone. How far until Duke Castor's flagship? A moment, please. I'm searching for the signal. Keep heading north, and we'll soon... Witchcraft guns. The lead tank has been destroyed. We've taken damage too. We can't move. Is it the engine or the wheel? Possibly both. fix it ASAP. We can't stay here. We need to deliver the realm blade to the stone of the sword. Wait, what's that mountain? I don't recall any mountain like that outside Londinium. That's no mountain. It's a fully armed and operational battleship. It's Oranginium. The churning tides of Oranginium have coalesced into a colossal mass, blotting out the sun and transforming the very landscape. In its shadows, even battleships appear as mere specks. Above the mountain of Oranginium, a withered throne ominously hovers. Alright, that's a pretty cool scene. So the Watchers in the main art, that's the Sitaram and probably the Nej Salam floating in the sky. That makes sense now. The Nachzehrer king gazes upon the battlefield. All steeds sprout at the same time, withered branches creeping towards every death-shrouded corner.
Go, my brave warriors. Gnaw upon the greatest bone. Tear iron and steel apart as you would skin and flesh. Rip, tear, consume. We shall teach the Victorians. The master of war shall master war.
Well,
A reasonable result. I'd doubt your ability to achieve your ambitions if coping with this was beyond you.
a twisted creation of the Confessori, this bioweapon combines multiple pure Sarkaz bloodlines. Oranginium dust clings to his body, spreading as it flaps its great wings while moving. Don't see how you can beat them if the undead spawns more. You just gotta kill the king. Also, I think they only spawn, I think they only get stronger if they eat the dead or something. Although I guess the withered branches like can grow into more. I don't know how they fully work. Either way, just kill the king. Close support, fight war with war, and death with death. This background is awesome though, like the giant Oranginium mountains, like there's a battleship caught in the rocks, the barbed wire and like trenches of the wharf front. Very cool. What the hell are those things up in the sky? Get down. Ugh. Delphine, your right hand. Don't touch. This isn't any normal cannon fire. Sarkaz witchcraft. And is corrosive in nature. It won't be much help. Or I won't be much help. Those people are still trapped in the polluted area. It's too late for them. You got shit in the air, stuff growing on the ground, and deep crystals and dust everywhere. I can't even take a damn step. The Sarkaz want to turn this battlefield into their home turf, forcing us to put down our gear and cower while they pummel us. When it comes to a head-to-head infantry battle, the Sarkaz will surely have an advantage due to their natural physique. Alright, I get it now. It's all just a dirty trick. Which is why we can't afford to get caught off guard. If they ever get the drop on us, we're done for on the spot. Morgan, get as many of our vehicles up and running as you can. Avoid any close combat with Sarkaz infantry. Even if a vehicle's destroyed, don't overlook the mounted cannon. They're the best weapons we've got. Understood. Delphine, send the signalers out as widely as you feasibly can. The exemplars will be able to maintain communication that way, at least. Of course. If we want to push forward, we're going to have to take down that altar up ahead. Horn, cover fire. Roger. Indra, your team's responsible for holding the enemy back. Doesn't matter if it's casters or art creations, or whatever those things are up in the sky. You've got it. Dogda's team, you're with me. Same as always. Same as always. I can see the core. Move out. Another altar of Sarkaz witchcraft. Climb, pull up, leap, bring down the hammer. As the war rages on, they've become more and more familiar with these war machines resembling the devil's eyes. They've become more and more familiar with war itself. Vina often feels as if Indra, Morgan, and Dagda have changed so much. She trusts that the same changes can be seen in her. Is it a change for the better? Or a change that came far too late? The devil's crimson eye stares at her. The hammer comes down hard, and the altar begins to collapse before Siege even reaches the ground. It worked. Phew. We took it down even quicker than the last one. I hear something. Back up. Something's growing out of that bloody thing. It's another altar, not far from the one we knocked down. How many of these little buggers did they bury in the ground? Bloody hell. There's no end to them. Siege tightly grips her hammer. They are adapting, but not quickly enough. Trilby Asher, has the location of the stone of the sword changed? I haven't been notified of any changes to the plan. Can the ship still move with all the oranginium crystals everywhere? I'll have you know, Victoria has the most powerful fleet on the land. We might be slowed a little, but we're certainly not without options. I hear naval guns. I believe it's the Iron Duke's Gastrol, going by the sound. The next round of our assault is beginning. One of Abercorn's assault ships has run into the Sarkaz advance brigade. The enemy was hiding in the fog and suddenly appeared. Our vision is severely limited by the oranginium crystals and we can't follow their movements at all. Has mid-range communication been restored yet? The ship's comm tower is still out of commission. Engineers trying to repair it. But in this oranginium dense zone... Your Grace, what are you doing on deck? There's oranginium dust everywhere outside. Please try not to leave the command center. I heard that Wellington always stands on the deck of the Gastrol, personally commanding his frontline troops. The Iron Duke has been through many battles, but you, just now, the Gastrol opened fire. Your ears did not deceive you. Is he pressing forward? I'm afraid so. The Iron Duke's forces have penetrated deeper than we thought, and are about to collide with the Sarkaz core unit. Wellington. Does he plan to take the head of the Sarkaz Regent? The Wesley Wellington I knew was indeed a warrior before he became the Iron Duke. His bravery might have bordered on madness, but he would never gamble with the outcome of a battle. Regardless, the Iron Duke's recklessness has placed us at a great risk. As per the initial orders, Duke Abercorn and Duke Ashworth's men are following the Iron Duke, and among them our vanguard as well. Factoring in the surrounding Orangenium, our front line is being stretched thin. What of the eyes you placed aboard the Gastrel? Nothing yet. Even us Trilbiatchers are experiencing some serious delays in communication. Aileen, confirm the status of the Stone of the Sword. No issue so far. We will never allow the Stone of the Sword to be tainted by Sarkaz witchcraft. Your Grace, the poet has launched a flare. So Alexandria and the Sigh of Kings will arrive soon. Have your people keep a close eye on them. Don't let the sword get lost on the battlefield. We must put the Sigh of Kings to work immediately. Unless the comms are restored fully, the so-called Ducal Alliance is a non-entity. Hey, we got new models for these guys. The enemy seems to be getting stronger. That same witchcraft eats away at us while strengthening them. Siege, watch out! Dogda. The hammer falls and a portion of the Nachzehrer warrior's body is caved in, but he continues to advance. A second swing and then a third. Dogda leaps back, splitting his waist with her metal claws. The Trilbiasher's flaming blade pierces his chest. Oh, the Trilbiasher is actually fighting, huh? Okay, cool. Dull gasps. And that's just one. There are still many more ahead. These Sarkaz are truly monsters. These bloody devils are all monsters, goddammit. They're not even flesh and blood. Do you think they're already dead? Only the dead can... Already dead. Strange noises can be heard in all directions. They are distinct from the sounds of Orangenium crystal clusters piercing the ground. They are not omens to the explosion of Orangenium dust. Captain, we can't hold out like this. There's no end to them. Better focus on the one right in front of you then. There's always going to be someone standing up front. Raise the shield, fire the cannon, repeat, ad infinitum. Victoria possesses the strongest weapons in all of Terra. One shell can easily blow apart a Sarkaz's armor. Just as quickly, two more Sarkaz rush forth, at the same time to take the place, then three. The artillery fire unleashes its fury, but it cannot stem the surging tide. There's no end to the enemies. She can hardly tell how many Sarkaz are on the ground in front of her, some standing, some lying. The number of fallen Victorians is perhaps even greater. She can hear bagpipe shouts and the whistling of her spear. From those she finds utmost solace, and that's enough to keep her fighting on. A plume of firelight suddenly springs up not too far away. Bagpipe. Firelight? Could it be? What is it, Captain? I think I just saw Hill again. Oh, Hill. That same face again. The same face that appears in her nightmares every now and then, reminding her of how tragically her teammates died. The face of that traitor. He's dead. You see that one lying over there? Seems to have been killed in action some time ago. Captain, just now, did he... He moved. He's standing up again. The man clad in the uniform of Wellington's forces staggers towards them. He lifts the blade in his hand and slashes at the Sarkaz in front of Horn. The armor is too thick, and the recoil pushes his hands away. His arms contort strangely, and he strikes a second time, then a third. Okay, this is the not the good firelight. That familiar visage is getting closer and closer to them. In the midst of the dead, silent gray, only a tiny speck of purple dances. It's her. It's Dublin. Yeah, but now we're on the same side. I lay down my soldier's honor here, so that in time, the soil of Tara need no longer be soaked in carmine blood, and Draco cross no swords with Draco kin. Be that unless a day comes whereupon Red Dragon's flame would lead all those that fell, our fighters form the forge to be reborn.
The third set of altars have been crushed. Milady, our casters are flying, and flying soldiers are in position. We're about to approach the largest altar. Our deceased compatriots have managed to protect us from the devil's vile pollution, but the destructive power of their witchcraft is unprecedented.
Allow me.
Milady, you're going to destroy the altar yourself.
You, as my subjects, have done all you need to do. I, as your sovereign, ought to lead you forward. How can I take this land as my own if I never set foot upon it? The Red Dragon's flame shall fall upon the battlefield's front lines, just as it has for thousands of years.
Our altar's being raised. Stay in formation, don't get scattered by those flames, keep casting. They're nothing but a ragtag bunch of impotent outbloods.
Impotent? I wouldn't be so sure about that. We're nothing like those Victorians who have it easy. Every Taran warrior has been forged within the shadows, tempered by pain and suffering. We were once known as specters, for we knew most intimately the scent of death.
I won't let you.
Trying to turn yourself into an arts catalyst to detonate the altar? As you wish.
No. I'm too late.
The spark of life gradually fades, and in its place burns a deathly purple flame leaping across the body of the slain Sarkaz warrior just as it dances in Eblana's eyes. They love giving up Blana's art. There is no royal court in Death's domain. Sarkaz, your people know death so well, only because you've fought enough wars.
See that? Death itself stands with us. Our enemies are not inscrutable demons. Drag those Sarkaz out from their pretentious art circles and give them a taste of our crossbows and cannons.
Brigadier, I see flame burning within your eyes.
I've waited far too long for this, just like the countless other Taran warriors. All of us grew up hearing the legends of the Empire's death knell and enlisted with burning fervor in our hearts. But over the last few decades, Wellington's minister and the Duke have had their hands tied, and we've also been caught between the cracks of the other Duke's negotiation tables. So many hot-blooded warriors were repressed because of their background, while many others perished in the Victorians' conspiracies. I've endured for so many years, even to see myself into a scheming villain, all for the sake of witnessing a real war, not one ignited by the noble's petty power jockeying. Only on such a battlefield can a warrior's death be glorious and meaningful. I am to die in this battle,
Then please bestow upon me your flame so that I may stand once more. Until my remains are consumed fully by the fire, until our promised nation has been established, I shall never lay down my arms.
Excellent. Now then, come with me. Do you see that throne of dead wood?
That's the Sarkaz leader.
The Nachzehrer Shalem. He who calls himself the Lord of War and Death.
The Sarkaz loyal court sure has a thing for those overblown titles.
Overblown, hardly. He just happens to be ancient enough. But he is not the only living legend here.
Why, of course. Not far away, naval guns roar. Ancient witchcraft is not the only force that can cause mountains to move.
Now, let us pit war against war, and death against death.
Aye, Patriarch. The hunt has been cut short. The Draco's flames have broken our formation. Oh, his clothes darkened.
Draco, thousands of years ago, after the Sarkaz first lost their homeland, they once did battle against a red dragon on this very soil. Those flames turned fields of Sarkaz into charred stone. They are still beside us and beneath our feet.
We will slay her. A red dragon will sate our appetite for a while.
She is not the one who drives this war.
The Nachzehrer king turns his gaze toward a certain part of the battlefield. Behind the red dragon's smoke and flames, a huge shadow is rushing toward them at an unexpected speed.
A titan that casts a shadow across the land, able to shake mountains and rivers with but a single breath. No longer is it a mere red dragon.
All parameters set. Loading complete. Firing interference shells. Target locked on. Main guns first salvo. Confirmed hit. General, we've swept the obstacles away.
Good. Kestrel, full speed ahead. Our objective, the Nachzehir's throne.
The naval guns roar. Wellington is well acquainted with his most loyal subject, the oldest gun aboard the ship, that which assisted him in blowing open the gates of Linoge. He killed the mightiest nomadic city on Terra. He pulled the spine from its corpse and made it part of his warship. Afterwards, he took the Gastrel to many lands and conquered many foes. The arts orb of Litania casters, the shields of Ursine vanguards, the golden blades of Sargonian assassins. He collected and modified the most valuable components of his enemies and placed them upon his flagship. But not for the sake of commemoration. Only those who have become weak and frail through the passage of time need to rely on those vestiges to remember the past. The Gastrel must step over the bones of its enemies, assimilating their power so that it may become stronger. Only this way can the two of them defeat even stronger enemies together. Intercept them! The crystal barrier has been shattered. The enemy continues to advance. How they must long for death using artillery fire to cleave a path. Wave after wave of cannon fire pours down onto the Sea of Oranginium. Golden fragments crack and split apart, revealing a gap within those congealed waves. How dare they approach us? A thick haze envelops the battleship. Countless Nachzehrer warriors land on its deck, the entire vessel enveloped in the glow of witchcraft. Rend, dismantle, corrode. The cadence of gunfire gradually slows. The hard steel hull is being digested, just like all the other prey that has fallen into the Nachzehrer art circles.
Capture complete. Not yet.
He lifts his scepter. The branches grow rapidly from beneath the throne, blocking the front of the Nachzehrer warriors. A shell lodges within the branches. A few seconds later, the shell explodes, tearing the branches asunder. For the first time since the battle began, the Nachzehir's throne shakes.
My patriarch. It matters not.
From the thick haze of corruption, the warship slowly comes into view. Its outer layer flayed off by the corruption, almost half of its main and secondary guns disabled due to the bombardment of witchcraft shells. Only the steel frame remains shining. Yet she is nevertheless still Gastrel, the mightiest warship in the land, and her master. The Sarkaz atop the throne lowers his head, noticing a faint shadow among the crystal clusters. General, the Gastrel has successfully drawn the attention of the main Sarkaz force. They didn't even notice that we were transferred from the main ship. Wait, something's coming this and fast. Guardsmen, tighten your formation. A salvo of artillery fire. Only a few tiny twigs fall from the smoke and dust. The force that was enough to shatter those crystalline waves cannot even shake the figure floating in the air. The Nachzehrer king casts his gaze down upon the commander at the center of the army. Not far behind, the old feline, the bloodthirsty warship is waiting, eager to tear at his rotting flesh.
Duke of Victoria. We have devoured many Victorians. General, Duke, whatever the title. They've all tasted the same. Conspirators, merchants, but none of their warriors. They saw the battleship as little more than a sandbox atop a table. The soldiers, mere chess pieces. War itself, only a tool for power and profit. How frivolous war was to them. But you are different. Your ship has also feasted on many enemies. Ursine, Lytanian, Gaulish, and Sarkaz. I can smell their flesh. They have also been absorbed by the Nachzehers. Sarkaz, I've read plenty of records about you. The ancient Nachzehers, with a tenth of the Victorian army's numbers, were able to halt their advance at Kazdal. A feat of war that defies all reason, one that cannot be taught in military academies or replicated. Are you here to take revenge? My only regret is that I hadn't been born 200 years ago. They apparently call you the god of war. No, there are no gods when it comes to war. There only exists a moment of victory or defeat.
Wellington draws his sword and points at the Sarkaz in midair. Behold him, or behind him, all the guns on his ship are pointed in the same direction.
Shalim, I shall defeat you, just like all the other mighty foes that have fallen at my hands.
No need to make a scene.
Oh, a specialist tactical point. Wow.
Bad luck. You ran into me. Need speed to succeed.
Can your eyes keep up?
Please, trust in me.
Don't leave bloodstains. They're hard to clean.
Thus I speak.
Fear not the firelight. Radical strategy, but I can work with it.
Uh-oh. Oh, they're all gonna blow up. I needed a healer over there.
The reversal of finality.
Awkward.
Picked out your bait yet?
Any instruction kill like a shooting star. That's what they say.
Don't. Nothing can mask the scent of despair.
ご安心くださいませ。For instance, this wondrous burn. You needn't spare.
I see them.
我が報い。何時に死をもたらす。
Need speed to succeed.
Thus I speak.
Radical 幻覚が見えるかしら。
Any instructions for me?
Any second now.
Ah, losing sight.
There, the curtain of destiny.
我が報い。何時に死をもたらす。Now take it out.
Picked out your bait yet? Don't. You can't hide your fear.
Well, that worked out.
I know what's better watch your step.
Could have been nicer.
Mission accomplished.
True damage? Probably more like elemental damage. Since those guys have S for both defense and arts. "65 hours into the operation. The battle between the Ducal Alliance and the Nachzehrer is brutal. Just farther ahead is Silver Rock Bluffs. The Oranginian response is intense, and the vehicle has already been paralyzed. Vienna should be arriving at the front line soon. The Exemplars have a tough task ahead of them, and they should be there soon. When the Sigh of Kings and the Stone of Sword become one, we'll be able to see it from our position. Catastrophes to be sundered. It's only a myth. When people see that things that defy explanation, they tend to exaggerate and romanticize them when passing down those to generations. But it's an actual artifact. The Sigh of Kings and the Shard. The Victorians' Shield and Spear. The Shard is an application of Oranginium on the same level as large-scale witchcraft devices, and the Sigh of Kings is able to neutralize certain Oranginium reactions. I see you've done your homework. Oranginium is often likened to a chronic disease. To this day, the people of Terra's best solution to catastrophes has been, and it still is, to avoid them. It is incredibly difficult for people to directly intervene in the mechanisms of Oranginium. But the Victorians have long mastered these tools to save themselves. The origin of the Sigh of Kings lies not in Victoria, right? The first time I saw the Sigh of Kings was deep within the palace of the Shahanshah in Sargon. People regard it as a symbol of the Aslan's royal authority, and believe that it can protect any settlement or city. That is true indeed. It is able to neutralize Oranginium reactions to a certain extent. Only a certain extent? That's right. No matter how much effort the Sargonian casters put into unearthing and retrofitting it, it was nothing but a former city defense device. During the era in which it was put to use, Oranginium was not yet widely available across the continent. I trust that it will be able to temporarily put a stop to Omninom and give the Farenmut's spine an opportunity to take off, but it is not an inhibitor that can completely seal Oranginium activity. Have you been disappointed too many times over all these years? Doctor, from your current perspective, what do you think Oranginium is? A phenomenon brimming with an unknown? A resource to exploit? Or perhaps a source of disaster and disease? I can't say. You don't want to, because your answer would be all of the above. Oranginium has long been inextricably woven into everything we see. Our environment, our technology, our culture, even our bodies. If a portion of a limb is necrotic, cutting it off might solve the problem, but what if the problem stretches from the beginning to the end? There are some people who see you as omnipotent. Why are you looking at me? Doctor, you asked me if I ever experienced disappointment. Just once. I allowed myself to become overly dependent on one person, made a series of poor judgments, and paid the price. Sigh. I don't remember, Calcit. Dot dot dot. But it doesn't mean that I'll stop believing. It is difficult enough to rebel against the very foundation of your origins. To pin your hopes on just one technology or one person is utterly unrealistic. Dr. Calcit, please take a look at this. There's a cave up ahead. Someone's concealed the entrance. A crude, twisted, one of the Confessori's solutions. I'm sure we'll find a witchcraft altar at its deepest point. We should go to where the Oranginium response is the strongest. This level of activation is unprecedented. Yeah, will our medicine still work? It beats being completely unprepared. Under the influence of a phenomenon, Oranginium will come closer to its true nature. The crystal clusters will merge with all things, living and dead, at an increasing rate, sealing the data inside in a simulated form. Oranginium can only store information within its own structure. As such, any assimilated individuals will completely lose the forms they had in life. Some may see this as nothing more than instantaneous decomposition. Just like those who die to an oropathy outbreak. There are some parallels. In the case of these patients, after their consciousness disperses, their bodies will disintegrate into highly activated Oranginium dust over a period of time. A simulation, on the other hand, condenses the entire process to the extreme. Rhodes Island's technology can only delay cell Oranginium assimilation rate from reaching a certain threshold. We are not able to truly erect a barrier that can starve or stave off Oranginium. Yeah, I get. Oh man, like yeah, cell Oranginium assimilation rate. That's been there from the beginning. And we knew like oropathy was turning you into Oranginium, but like now that we know like what's actually happening, it's like, oh, that name actually makes even more sense. Don't worry too much about it, Doctor. The oranginium saturation rate in our current environment is far from an extreme level. It's hard for me not to worry. Is our situation not extreme enough still? Right now, we still can breathe and move about. If we're quick enough to stop the oranginium from spreading further, all hope is not yet lost. Dr. Kaltsit! Doctor! I can hear enemy movements. Logos, please prepare to intercept the enemy. I wonder, did we leave behind the 3 randos with us? Intruders! It's the Banshee and... There are quite a few guards, but they're not difficult to manage. There must be greater dangers yet lurking in the shadows. Doctor, please stay close to us. The interference of Confessari's witchcraft is making it hard for me to pinpoint the exact location, but the blood of Tikaz is undoubtedly nearby. Tikaz's blood roused the first oranginium from its slumber. Over the millennia, the fate of the Sarkaz has been tangled together with the oranginium. Amia and Logos are suffering, or rather, they've shouldered this pain the entire time just to come this far. What about you then? You think of all the times Kaltsit had to suppress the words she wished to say. You're not only a witness and a bystander. Surely you share a deeper connection with Oranginium, with this war, and with everything that's been going on. This is the blood of Tikaz, Dukariel's obsession. This so-called pure blood is free of impurities. By itself, it poses no inherent power. Amia cut off its connection to the altar. Got it. Wait. Dr. Kaltsit. Monster, attack the corpse of that guard over there. Howls. Monster? There's another monster. No, there's more than just one. All of those defeated Confessari's guards weren't real guards at all. Near perfect replicas. Only he could decorate this cave to look nearly identical to a real altar. This was a trap designed to lure us in. Demazi. Okay, this Demazi's out of control. Amia, get behind me. Furious howl. Monster stands in front of you, and you grip Amia's hand tightly. The blood of Tikaz is collapsing along with the entire altar, the surrounding rock walls pressing ever closer. The illusion is no more, but the shifting terrain is real. The real altar must still be functioning. Oranginium continues to grow, and it will soon consume everything you see. Doctor! This is the Confessari's den. We seem to have fallen into the deepest level of the false altar. The Oranginium was shifting too fast. I only had time to grab onto you. I don't know where Dr. Kaltsit and Logos are. There's too much Oranginium here. Too much information. I can't sense them at all. They're probably far away by now. The enemy wanted to entrap us. They want to stop us from destroying the altar. But you might still be the Confessari's real target. What they want is the King of Sarkaz. The ground is still shaking. Are the crystal clusters still spreading? Wait, that's... Oh, hey. How many of these did they make? A monster suddenly crawls forth from the Oranginium's depths. The horns of a Wendigo, the body of a gargoyle, the flames of a Diablo. Ah. Oh, it's not just the blood, it's like literally, is it actually the bodies? Oh, so what kind of gargoyle looks like that? Mudrock doesn't look like that. You have seen these before in the Confessari stone sculptures of the various Sarkaz tribes, but never before sharing the same body. Also, where'd the wings come from? His emotions are chaotic. I see only memories, fragmented, blurry, and mashed together. Amia, over here. There are many more, Doctor. This is the cave that gave birth to them. The Confessari sculpted them from Sarkaz blood and Oranginium, and gave birth to these creatures. Does this make you sad, Amia? They're alive, Doctor. They aren't chunks of rock or constructs of witchcraft. They are living beings. But they obey only the call of the Confessarius. They do not feel any pain, nor do they cry for their fate. People would normally call these creatures monsters. That's right, monsters. Oh, Solace. Or alternatively, chimeras. Who are you even mourning for? For these mindless kin of your, or for yourself, the chimera forced to wear a crown? Roars. The fight is about to begin. Damn, more Confessari's witchcraft. Doctor, I won't let the Confessari trap me a second time. I'm not so fragile as to let these illusions and nightmares get to me. That name, Chimera, is no different from those dream interrogations. I've heard it many times before. I have no right to be here if I let myself get shaken by that. Beyond that, however, I swear that I've never let my immaturity drag you down again. A tiny crown appears above the head of the Countess girl. Black lines interweave and take form between her fingers. Your connection to the king is deepening. Perhaps, but it might not be enough. Amia. Don't be in such a hurry to leave. These clones are nothing before my incantations, the Mopsy. Or, as you once put it, it is a time wasted. You remember that performance at that show? We talked for quite some time. That day you at least still considered yourself a lord of the royal court, despite having a different appearance. What are you now? We try to take on different identities. But these varying journeys have yet to provide us with an answer. What we concluded is, the path has neither begun nor end, it is a cycle. And you sought out death to prove it. At death's end is nothingness. The myriad souls you speak of have said nothing to us. Banshee, how did it feel to sound the bone whistle for us? Shatter. There's no end to them. If this is all you can muster, you've lost a lot of bite after your first death. The clone destroyed by the incantation does not dissipate into nothingness as before. Instead, the body simply collapses, sinking into the Oranginium tides until it quickly disappears without a trace. From it, a hand resembling a withered branch extends from within the crystal cluster. Sudaram.
Banshee, you once killed me as well.
On the battlefield, I am not one of you.
In Kasdal, I was ordered to kill those who betrayed the royal court. You got in my way and separated my head from my shoulders with your incantations. You were but a child then, with a puerile voice.
I remember you. The traitors you mentioned were a family of 3 who wanted to flee Kasdal in search of a peaceful life.
They swore an oath of fealty to the royal court.
The royal court should never be held above ordinary Sarkaz. You may have been a war hero of Kasdal once, but I cannot allow you to slaughter civilians.
So you chose Babel and Teresa, all for the sake of your so-called ordinary Sarkaz.
That is the righteous path to the future.
But even after she died, she still didn't return to Kasdal, or you still didn't, rather. You even helped those outsiders steal away the King of Sarkaz.
The inheritance of the King of Sarkaz was a decision made by Her Highness Teresa.
You killed me with your own hands. When your incantations were coiling around my heart, strangling it. Ha ha ha, I can't believe it. After fighting alongside each other for so many years, whatever you felt towards me paled in comparison to those outsiders.
The potted golden grass you left behind on the ship is growing well now.
After Her Highness's death, how many comrades did you slay with your own hands during your internal strife that engulfed Babel? The belongings left behind by so many people, I'm sure there's enough of them to fill your whole room, huh? Do you feel sorry? Do you feel sorrow every time you look at that patch of grass I planted in the pot on a whim?
If I were to feel sorrow, it would be because even death has denied you the solace you deserve. Damazi, you're never so keen to dress yourself up as the dead before. This exchange of words cannot provide you with any answers, nor can probe in my emotions. The dead do not respond. They continue to emerge from the dark crystal clusters. Many faces, some familiar, others not, all of them Sarkaz. Your innate abilities are resonating with the information stored inside the Oranginium, seeing as how your powers have grown thanks to the Oranginium. Logos raises one hand. No incantations are needed, just a low humming sound from the vibrating of the rock walls. And a heartbeat, all the Damazi's clones are shattered. Just as expected. There's one left, the very last one. It's you. The vampire stands there in the cave's depths. His expression almost identical to when he stood atop the Fairmont's skull that day. However, it is no longer fresh blood that roils around him as before, but rather clusters of Oranginium crystal. Logos can feel the blood in his body stirring. The sanguinarch of vampires, Dukariel. You're not like the others, I know this. You are not one of the Damazi's avatars. What? But how? The Damazi are so the Damazi are the strangest Sarkaz. They get powered up. So they get powered up by, like, is their shapeshifting part of their arts then? They got powered up by Oranginium? No one ever dies. Yeah, but he was literally cast into the void of space. How do you even get back? How could he have possibly gotten back? It doesn't make sense. Unless they summoned him, I guess, somehow. Lord Demazi, this portion of you decided to assist Cuisar Touchage. No, we have no interest in helping anyone in particular. We are simply searching for answers. You say that, but you sure are helping them. You sure are helping a lot. Doubts it. We have met you before, when the Sarkaz were not yet Sarkaz. You walked across us. I have no recollection of any such meeting. At the time, we were unable to speak. And then... the first king of Tikaz came in contact with Originium. That was our first awakening. The first individual rose up from among us. We felt one another. We had existed for an unknown amount of time before that, but it was only at that moment when we became aware of our existence. Because we began to think. Originium will assimilate all life forms it comes in contact with. Not just you, but also the original vampires, banshees, and wendigos. All Tikaz have changed. You are approaching the form of another entity that once existed on this land. Then what are you? Howls agitatedly. It seems extremely averse to see another self. Counts it the immortal. Do you still remember what you looked like at first? The immortal is a figment of certain people's imaginations, and a misrepresentation of myself. Time leaves its marks upon me all the same. The original entity by the name of Calcit has long been lost beneath the golden sands. But you are still yourself. We were watching as you were reborn at Teresa's side. You are different from your previous self, from your appearance to your personality. We are used to constant change for the sake of survival. Among the Sarkaz, the Demazi cluster is unique. We once thought that you were like us. We know many Calcit, just as Calcit knows many of us. However, we will always be a whole. Each Demazi is a receptor for us to feel this land. But Calcit is different. Each Calcit is still you. I do believe that to be true. Why? Is it the inheritance of memory that makes you so persistent? Memory can be easily tampered with and implanted. This we know, for many long-lived beings have tried such methods. Such immortality is nothing but an empty lie. Then is it some kind of duty? I won't deny that my life has been duty-bound from the moment I was born. Looking back, I don't think I've ever truly been alive. The substances that make up your body have all been replaced. The memories inherited from your previous self are unreliable. The mission imposed upon you may not even be your own. Calcit, what is it that has kept the continuity of you across these thousands of years? A name. A unique name or title. It is a question that so many emotionally deprived Sarkaz would be keenly interested in. This name has many meanings. The person who gave me this name, and the people I care about, are now in danger. This isn't the time for us to be having this chat. We did not expect you to be this sentimental. Monster. Excited howl. Wow, that was a neat, interesting
Good,
conversation.
good. I had no idea you were so clever and learned. I was going to ask you help me make my Akhang, but with such a good head on your shoulders, I'm feeling a little bad now.
I think I'm wondering if I'm right. I'm wondering if my ideal is right from those Twitter posts Arknights posted. Because when he's like, when the Namatsi said like, "What are you?" he turned into monster, right? So I'm still in the boat that Kaltzit is a monster and monster is going to become Kaltzit. That every time she's reborn, it's just the next monster turning into her. But they are all considered like the same person. They carry the memories. Although, if this is true, it's memories because Monster was there when it all happened. Every iteration of Monster is there, and Kaltzit is, you know, leaving and sharing his information with Monster, as we saw from those tweets. So I don't know if memories are actually fully transferring. She said, like, she doesn't even remember everything. And her personality does change. Confirm that. As for the Namatsi cluster, very interesting stuff there. So there was the TCAS. There was like a singular TCAS that touched Oranginium, the first Oranginium, and that triggered like everything. That awoke the Namatsi cluster, who were like what were they? Were they just like bacteria? Like They were aware. They know, like, Kaltzit walked on them, quite like, quote unquote, walked on them, right? So like, what were like, but they weren't aware of existence yet. So they're just like an animal thing, like a bacteria. I don't know. Are they the first Sarkaz then? Maybe. She did say I think she said your form is the closest, or to like becoming a TCAS or something like that. So they might be they might be the closest to the original. But why did Oranginium do that? Why didn't it just assimilate them? So many questions. Hidden Front's not unlocked until 4.11? Yeah, 14. So we've got a few more. Got a few more on that. But
Have you been doing well lately, Doctor?
Enough Orandom to go for another pull.
Arknights Island.
Another Logos. Oh.
Reporting.
All right, Logos.
I think this procedure calls
All right,
for some
Logos.
formality.
You're doing this to me, huh? Give me. I wish we could trade. Don't have enough gold certs to buy anymore. Continue to save up. I don't think I want to go below 60 or 50k, to be honest, so I'm hesitant for that. So they technically So you get her free after 300 rolls, right? Or is it 200? 3? No, it had to be 300. But then she also costs 300. So if you get to 300 rolls, either way you get... You get 2 Ws? Although I'm at 115, but I'm at 185, so there's something's off with math there. But it should still add up, yeah. That's interesting. You can spark one. I mean, at that, like, we might as well. What else are you gonna do it for? Unless you go 300 without getting logos either, which would be really bad luck. That would be terrible luck. I'd feel really bad for anyone who did that. Buy this though. 7 tickets, almost enough for a 10 pull. need 3 more tickets. We have those as well. I mean, I should wait because we just got 6 stars. So I'm not gonna get another one. I might as well just wait until I get some extra Orange and Yammer tickets. I just noticed the oh, that's her art, isn't it? Her art has Ines and Hodor on the left. Ain't that nice? Ain't that nice? Well, I thought we might have one more, time for one more, but we didn't actually. Somehow. This is the first time there's operators in someone else's art. Oh yeah, outside of an outfit? It might be, yeah. No, because Hodor does it too. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Hodor's got them under under his legs. W and Ines there. They're the dynamic trio. They gotta go everywhere together. Actually, does Ines have them? Yep, they're very hidden, but they're over in that corner. She's not showing them off as much. But they are there. And her new outfit still has them as well, or at least has Hodor. Very prominently. Anyway. Now, I don't think old W had them at all. Her skin did, but I don't think old W had them. She was more of a Lone Ranger back then, anyway. But we'll be back tomorrow with more. We'll be back this whole week with more, pretty much. Going until we're done. She has grown. She has grown, actually. Seeing the past few episodes just today, the past few parts of the story. It's been nice to see. Like, we have more of her motivation. She actually, like, she's kind of crazy, but right, but like, she actually was just a believer in, like, actually a better life for the Sarkans and what Teresa was doing. And she's just been let down a lot, and it was let down again, or at least thinks she was let down again. Become a real team player as well. Yeah, it's been cool to see. I can't say it's necessarily character growth, because it's kind of perhaps just been hidden character in the first place, but either way, it's been cool to see. Well, thank you all for watching. And until we meet again, may the sands of time treat you well.